Hey everyone! So today I'm going to be filming the Scary Clown Halloween makeup look. I'm going to be doing Pennywise from the movie It that just came out, the most recent one, because I feel like a lot of people might be asking to either learn how to do it or either do it on themselves or on clients. That way you guys can be a little bit more comfortable. Without further ado, let's get this thing started. Alright, so I'm starting off with some Elmer's stick glue, applying that all over my brows. Go in multiple directions. It's going to be a lot easier to brush them down. Just use a blank spoolie, it'll work as well. And I'm just blending out the edges with my fingers. Make sure to let it dry for a good 5 minutes before you get started. Now I'm just using a primer all over my face. Make sure to coat it really well so nothing stains. Just using a white base over here. This one to be honest, I don't know what the brand is, but you can even use the Makeup Forever white lipstick if you want. Works really, really well. Or you could use the Flash palette. Just make sure it's white. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier with a powder puff all over my brows to make sure nothing sticks to them. Just dusting that off and covering them with some white base. Again, I would recommend something that's a little bit thicker, like the Flash palette for this. And then I'm just going to set the rest of my face with the same Laura Mercier setting powder. Don't worry too much about flashback because honestly, in this kind of look, it'll look pretty cool. I'm using the Makeup Forever liquid latex. This is optional. It's just to create a little bit more texture, and I'm creating these kind of cracks in my forehead. Make sure they're dry before you go in and apply anything on top. You'll see the effects of it later on. Alright, now I'm using the black from the Flash palette, and I'm just going to be drawing my brows. Don't worry, they don't have to be perfect because brows are sisters, not twins. Just make them like really arched and above your natural brows. That way it looks a little bit funky and a bit scarier. Alright, now that the latex is completely dry, I'm just drawing over with a black Flash palette and try to make them as thin as possible. If it's too thick, it'll look a bit more cartoon-like. This really doesn't have to be perfect, to be honest. I'm just kind of drawing them wherever there's blank areas and then filling in the holes. Alright, so I'm using the red from the Flash palette as well. Just to make sure you're using a really thin brush for this. And the way I kind of gave myself a guideline was by smiling, so I can really see how to exaggerate. I just followed my natural upper lip and obviously exaggerated at the bottom up to my dimples when I smile. Okay, so we're going to be mixing the tooth color. So I'm using a little bit of the yellow, the white, the brown, and the beige from the other Flash palette. And I'm just starting to draw pointy teeth. Once again, it really doesn't have to be perfect. Just go with whatever feels right. Alright, so now we're going to go in back with our red, just kind of fill in the blanks, so everything between the teeth and also just filling up the top and the bottom lip. The top lip is going to be much, much thinner than the bottom. You want to kind of accentuate the bottom lip a little bit more. You want to have a red base also, that way when we go in with the black afterwards, it doesn't look just black, it looks more realistic with a red base. You're going to use the black only in between the teeth And it doesn't have to be super opaque, just to make the red look a little bit darker basically. Alright, so I'm just using the black again and still using the same brush. I'm just going to go in where my dimples are, make it look more like lines, and kind of extend that towards the nose. That way my cheeks look a little bit more round. We're also just going to add a little chin dimple as well and accentuate our brow frowns, I guess, just a little bit higher than our natural brows. I'm going to also add some creases in the eye area just to make it look a little bit creepy. Okay, so now I'm using my blending brush with a dark brown color, something that has a little bit more of a cool tone to it. And I'm just accentuating the inner corners of my eyes to make me look a little bit more tired and obviously a little bit creepier. It's just going to create a bit more dimension on the face. Whereas right now it looks a little bit more flat. So I'm going in with my black and we're going to do a really not super well blended smoky eye. So I'm going right underneath my eye, right in the inner corner, and on top of my lid up to my crease. Honestly, this really doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to look better the more creasing there is in this look. So don't worry about the blending too much. Alright, so to really make the eye color stand out, I'm using a black pencil liner and filling in my waterline. Really go 360 around the eye because you want to make it look super, super dark. Okay, so once you've done that, we're going to go back with the red and create our nose. His nose is more along the tip of the nose, not so much like super round. So just do the tip and then a little bit on the nostrils. And then you'll see afterwards I'm going to go in with some black just to kind of cover the rest of my nose underneath, or else it would look a little bit odd. And you'll also notice that I'm going to make it look a bit more rough with some black and just kind of shade it up a little bit. I'm using the red again, and now we're going to create those famous, I don't know what to call them, but I guess like extended smile lines. And we're going to go all the way up higher than the brow. They don't have to be super symmetrical, so don't worry too much about that. As long as they are somewhat similar, then that's all that really matters. And make sure you're bringing it up all the way above the brow. Don't worry too much about them being super thin. I know it's a little bit harder, especially if you don't have a super thin brush like I do. Alright everyone, so this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed. I added like some fake blood. Once again, you guys can use like a thicker lip gloss and just let it run a little bit. I use the Makeup Forever coagulated blood and the thick blood as well. They do sell those also at like party stores and things like that, so you can find them there. Yeah, As you saw, I added a few tissue papers, just kind of sprayed a little bit of blood on there just to kind of make it look more clown-like. Obviously, I don't have like the big crazy hair, but if you have a wig, by all means, go right ahead. Once again, this is my interpretation. You can definitely minimize it or even go a little bit more crazy. Honestly, I think this is probably my favorite look because it looks really creepy. The Walking Dead was also really nice, but yeah, I'm really happy with this one. I'm happy with how it came out. And it looks really creepy too, so yeah, don't worry about making all the lines perfect and everything. Honestly, like I did do a couple of corrections. So if you want, you could also add contacts. I don't personally have some, but I know some of you might. So feel free to do that as well. It doesn't have to be the Pennywise clown. It can be any clown. Just make it a little bit more scary. Or you can go even more glam as well with it. Obviously, this is not glam, but you can definitely do those. I know there's a lot of pictures out there right now. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Bye! Have a good day!